Ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a mom. You could have made me president of the world and it wouldn't have been as important. And I like to say it that way because that's a big deal. And one night, literally out of the blue, out with my mom and some friends, I got really horribly sick, just pains I've never experienced before or since, I don't think. My mom finally convinced me to go to the emergency room, and they started performing some tests and trying to figure out what was wrong, sent me home with some medicine and saying, give it a few days. And after a week, I still wasn't feeling any better, so I went back to my doctor, and he started to send me to this doctor and this place and that test, and one by one they started ruling out things that it could have been. So when I did the test that he wanted done and I went in to see him, he said that he thought that I had ovarian cancer, and he wanted to remove these tumors that I had, grapefruit size and tennis ball size, get them out as soon as possible, and let me know that I probably wouldn't have children. And that, it was like life as I wanted it to be was over. Literally the night before surgery, on my bathroom floor all by myself, I just started to cry. And then I just started to pray and talk to God and say that I didn't understand what was happening. That this was all that I ever wanted, was to have children. I just wanted one perfect little girl, is how I used to say it. I told him, it's not okay with me. I'm scared and I'm angry, but I know that you want what's best for me. And I don't know what that is, and I don't know how this can be, but one day I know that you'll show me why it is. And I never before and never since have I felt such peace. And I don't think unless you've felt it yourself, you can really explain it. In the morning of the surgery, I was kind of reassuring everyone that it was going to be all right. And the doctor had given me some best case and worst case scenarios. And best case, I would be in the hospital for 3 days, and best case, I would be out of work for this long, and that they would be able to save some ovarian tissue. When I woke up, I remember there was a nurse in the room, and I asked her, "Do you know what happened to me?" And it still makes me choke up every time I think about it. She said, "Yes, honey, it's all still there." And I just, it was enough, as groggy as I was, to know. I just kind of went back to sleep, and I ended up going home that day. They still told me that I had very little, if any, chance of getting pregnant, and even less of carrying a child to term. But I knew I had gone through that step. He told me to trust him, and I did, and look what he did, kind of thing. And that was in October of '98, and by August of 1999, I was pregnant with my first child. I always say man told me I wouldn't have children, and God told me I'd have 3. It's kind of my favorite thing to say. It's one thing to say that you trust God. It's one thing to pray. It's another to, I literally took all my hopes and dreams and put them on a plate and handed them to him. And he gave me back so much more than I ever even hoped for. How can you not make that a part of your everyday life?